Hi everybody, it's me Stacy here at scrapbookingmadesimple.com, and it's time for our next Saturday with Stacy YouTube class number 404, and it's a doozy. I have got product from Stampendous that when I saw it, my mind went here and it was supposed to go there. You know, the stamps are supposed to be used for this, but I went, oh no, I went this way. Wait, you'll see. And then I have the worldwide launch from Couture Creations and Ozzy Andrew and his sketch-like alcohol ink markers, but retailing for $1.99 right now. Holy smokes, artichokes, 108 colors. So those are back in this YouTube class. But really, this class is about technique. And chances are you're going to already have product in your stash that you're going to be able to do this with, whether it be holiday related or not. Some of you may already know all of these techniques, and others are just joining us and have never seen any of this. So as always, I'm going to start simple, and I'm going to use the Stampendous stamps in the manner that they were supposed to be used. Peggy from Stampendous brought them in, and I looked at them and she showed me some samples and she's like, aren't they lovely? And I'm like, I have no intention of doing any of that with them. I want to do this with them. She's like, huh? And I'm like, So that's what we're gonna do today. We'll start simple and I'm gonna use them just the way they're supposed to be used, and then I'm gonna Stacyfy them and we're gonna go a little bit more bold, a little bit more creative, a little more adventurous, but perfect for all types of crafters, even for kids. They'll need mom and dad's supervision to do it, but they're going to be home for the summer, and this is a great way to spend some time with them, or with the senior center, or with the whatever group, crafty group you belong to. This is a great opportunity to just have a nice afternoon, even if you're not particularly crafty. It won't matter, trust me. Now I have Winter Chicken Dinner to tell you about, but before I get there, let's update you on the warehouse sale. The warehouse sale, the information I'm giving you, only applies to those who placed orders during the warehouse sale. If you did not get a $20 die for $1.99, or a $20 die for $2.99, or a $30 die for $3.99, this doesn't apply. Don't worry, just kind of go grab a cup of coffee or whatever makes your heart happy while I give the update. And so we are completely done filling the first day. Thousands of orders the first day, thousands of orders. They're completely filled. Almost all of them have shipped. Now all we're doing is finishing up quality controlling the balance of the first day and then shipping the rest of the first day. But there's not too many left from the first day that actually have to ship. So we're working towards that, but that means we have now brought up the first 200 orders from day 2. Day 2. Now there were, 14 binders for day 1 that we had to get through, and on day 2 I think there's 4 binders. That tells you the difference in the amount of orders. And then on day 3, I think day 3, 4, 5 all fit in 1 binder. So I'm glad that we're past day 1 and now are up to day 2. We've taken up the first 200 orders. That means if you are order 569, 211569, 68, 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, all the way down, and you have paid for your order, it is upstairs getting ready to be filled. If you are order 211570, you were this close to being upstairs, this close. But you'll be the first one on when we bring up the next 200 orders. Now, if you haven't paid for your order and you are 211568, your order is not upstairs. I can't fill it until it's paid for. And we have obviously given you ample time to save for the event. You made your purchases, you had a great time during the sale. We have now purchased all of that product for you, and now's the time to just pay that PayPal invoice or call us and you can pay us over the phone. We would greatly appreciate it if you allowed us to finish our commitment to you by sending you the product. If you would just pay us so we could, that would be amazing. Is there going to be another warehouse sale this year? Yes, there is. It is what it is. The manufacturers want it, the customers want it. We're gonna do it, and I just don't know what the date is going to be. Also, those of you who are looking up your warehouse sale order and you click on an item and it says, this item is no longer available to reorder. That doesn't mean you're not gonna get it. That means it's no longer available to reorder. That means they have been taken off the site because the sale is over. And if your best friend saw you got your package and she's like, oh, I want that, I need that, I have to have that, and she goes online with us to try and buy it, well, she can't because the sale is over. So it's no longer available to order, but it's already in your order, so you are just fine. So congratulations to all day oneers. Your product is almost out the door. Thank you so much for your understanding and your patience during what has been going on 15, 16 months of, we're just gonna get through this. We literally have one person pulling your orders, one person quality controlling your orders, and one person shipping your orders. Mr. SMS is the one who quality controls the hop orders. We have one girl pulling and one girl shipping. We are a skeleton crew, and well, eventually we won't be anymore, but I just don't know when that's going to be. So one day at a time is the best we can do. All right, winner chicken dinner. Oh, I know one of these names. Oh, that makes my heart so happy that I know one of these names. She used to shop here all the time and come to crops, and then she moved with her husband to Alaska and for a job, and then they had to move again back east for a job, but we miss her so much. And she's like, oh, is that me? Wendy, if it's you, it's you. Okay, our first winner chicken dinner is somebody that I know and care about deeply and miss. Wendy Federley, hello friend, how are you doing? Gosh, I hope everything is well with you. I hope everything is settled and calm and happy, and you are finding yourself in a much better place than all the turmoil you went through. And God bless you for how you handled yourself, and props and respect for everything you did. You and your husband just took it on, and you just were just gonna get through it, and gosh, you sure did. So from Alaska, California to Alaska, and then back east. So Wendy, congratulations, you have a $25 gift card in your account, and hopefully one day you're gonna come back and visit. We'll see you soon. Or maybe I'll come visit you. Who knows? All right, our next winner chicken dinner is Karen. Karen. Karen Belevender? Karen Belevender? Is that right, Karen? Am I close, Karen? Karen Belevender? If it's not right, you're gonna forgive me because you just won $25, so really doesn't, right? Congratulations, Karen. I'm so happy for you. You have got $25 in your online account right now, too. You know, girls, that would get you 12 of Ozzie Andrews' new alcohol ink markers. It would. It would get you 2 of Stampendous' new stamps. Oh, yeah. All right, so Wendy and Karen, we got to do the winner chicken dinner dance. Are you ready? You're a winner. Chicken dinner. You're a winner. Chicken dinner. Wahoo. Ka-choo. for you. Congratulations to both of you. You don't have to do anything to claim your prize. It's already in your account. And if you want a chance to be a winner chicken dinner, it's easy peasy. You have to subscribe to our station. There's a heart that says SMS. After you subscribe, you have to post a comment below. And once I approve your comment, then you go into the running. Why do I have to approve your comment? Well, you'd be quite surprised about some of the comments we get. Some things that have nothing to do with crafting at all. Some things that don't even have to do with scrapbooking made simple. People want to post about their sites, or a lot of spam is what sometimes we get in some of the channels they post to. They want to point you to, it's like, oh my, oh no, I don't think so. And then we have some people who feel the need to tell me that my lipstick was too red, or my ponytail was too high, or my laugh was too loud. And for that, we don't need to hear that either. So, all right, you guys, post your comments, keep them kind, and we're good to go. We'll approve them, and you go into the running for a winner chicken dinner. Just say hey, that's all. Good, just keep it nice. Say something nice and we're good. All right, so for today I think I'm gonna tilt down. I'm going to get started. I'm gonna pull some samples so I can show you. And yeah, I think that's good. All right, down we go. Are you ready? All right, let's head on down. And let me zoom on in. And head on down and zoom on in. Okay, all right, so how about some samples? These are some of the Stampendous stamps. This is one of their stamps. I'll let you know that they're all Slimline that we're going to be playing with today. We've got fall and winter for you, fall, Christmas, winter. Look at how cute. Just because you have a Slimline stamp doesn't mean you have to make it Slimline, but after I use the stamps in the way they're intended to, then we're going to Stacyfy them and you're going to see, oh my. Super cute background, right? And like I said, we've got Slimline. They're all Slimline, so here is a Slimline card for you. And they're gnomes. They're gnomes with a blustery day and the fall leaves all around them. Now, the SMS girls had, and I'm going to back up just so it's not so much me. The SMS girls had an amazing time making the samples for this class. An amazing time. And so when you see them, because we're going to Stacyfy these stamps. When you see them, I hope you appreciate them as much as I do, because I thought that they just did a beautiful job. All right, down we go. Let's get started. Wow, that's a lot of me, especially on somebody's 50-inch TV or 65-inch TV. Holy smokes. Okay, first thing I think I'm going to do is talk to you about the Stampendous stamps. Now, the Stampendous stamps, they are Slimline, and I have 5 different stamps that are part of the I Want It All bundle. So I've got the cute little, the birds, which are beautiful. I have got the fall sunflower. I've got the snowflake. I've got the Christmas gnomes. And I have got the snowmen. These are the 5 that are part of the I Want It All. I have other stamps to go with, but they're not part of the I Want It All. I just wanted to show you what was part of the I Want It All package. And I'm going to start with the birds, I think. First thing I want to do is tell you that when you get a Stampendous stamp, some of them, not all of them, but some of them, they always have the little liner that's on top that you're used to taking off, whether it be a clear stamp or a cling stamp. There's always that piece of plastic. Sometimes you keep it and you put it there. It's kind of up to you, but it's always over the top when you get one of their stamps. And you just pull that piece right off. But maybe, oh, yep, this one's got it too. Pull it right off. But what I want you to see is that there's still a piece of glossy vinyl over the top. Stampendous, some of Stampendous' stamps do not stick by the cling to your clear block. They stick by this extra vinyl. And this extra vinyl, I believe, has been printed on so that you can see it indexes the stamp for you. I know that it can be confusing. You take this first piece off and you're like, oh, wait, there's a second piece on there. I want to tell you to not pull this off. See, if it's struggling to come off, there's a reason. If it just doesn't come right off, if it's glued down, don't pull. No. But what if you do? What if you get in there and you start to pull it off? Look at it, it's taking the whole thing. See? Don't. Now, if you did, just push it back into place. Is it going to be the end of your stamp? No, absolutely not. Just push it back into place. It still has adhesive on it. Chances are it's still going to cling down. But even if it didn't, it doesn't harm your stamp. It's just something you're trying to avoid. And again, not all Stampendous stamps are like this. Their clear stamps aren't like that at all. You take them on and off the liner. And some of their cling stamps, their larger cling stamps, aren't like this at all. But if you take off that top piece that just comes off easy peasy, and there's still a high gloss piece of vinyl, that means you leave it there. So today I'm not even going to worry about attaching it to a block. I'm going to be stamping upside down for a good part of the day, if not the whole day. And I'm going to put that there. And I'm going to start with my Hero Arts India ink. Lovely ink. It is a highly pigmented dye-based ink that does not move with water. We are the only ones who sell the re-inker for it. We sell it exclusively. We have the India ink and the re-inker. You can't find the re-inker anywhere else. Hero Arts did that for us. And it's on the lines of a memento ink because it doesn't move with water. They're beautiful. The deep, rich color is lovely. Now I'm going to ink this up. And again, I'm going to turn it upside down. As opposed to stamping down, I'm just going to stamp up and keep it simple. And we're going to start on a simple technique that many of you may already know or have seen, but I want to make sure that those who are new have some place to start. And then we're going to get progressively harder. But let's keep it simple for the newbies. We can't assume that everybody has been crafting as long as you and I have, right? So I'm just going to ink it up. And that's plenty of ink. I'm going to grab my piece of paper, and I'm just using white 100-pound cardstock. This is my Simply Defined cardstock. I'm going to put it right over the top. And then I'm just going to give a nice back rub. Now, some of you are using these things that I'm hearing about. I don't know what they're called, but you use them with your stamp positioner to get better pressure. If you want, you can also take your ink pad and do that to get better. Make sure you get all over the place. I know sometimes hands don't always lay completely flat, so this is a good way to get it done. I don't know if you want to build your own or make your own. It's up to you. I just want you to know that you have options. You can use something as simple as a stamp pad to get that done. And then let's pull up. Ooh, pretty. And there's my image. Now that was using the stamp never being cleaned. I just pulled that right out. That's how good the stamps are. Often when you have a new stamp, you're going to want to put some soapy water over it. There's usually some little bit of a film on it, but my gosh, that just stamped beautifully. Now I'm going to be using colored pencils today, not watercolor pencils, colored pencils. And I think I'm going to show you real quick how colored pencils work. I know many of you have colored pencils and you already know this, but just humor me for a little bit because again, there will be new people who have never seen this before, and this is going to be an aha moment for them. So let's let them have that moment. You will have yours later, I promise. Okay, so colored pencils, not watercolored pencils. We sell the Bronzil, which is a fine art colored pencil. It's beautiful. They're not too expensive. They're kind of in the mid line of colored pencils, and there's lots of colored pencils out there. Even Crayola makes colored pencils. If you can, you buy what you can afford. If you want to go into Walmart and find some colored pencils there, absolutely. Are they going to be the same quality? No. But is the price going to be less? Yes. If you're happy with what they achieve, then buy what makes your heart happy. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to scribble. And it pretty much looks like a crayon because colored pencils are wax-based. This is not a watercolor pencil. That's something completely different. And it just looks like a crayon until you pull out something called Gamsol. Gamsol is also known as mineral spirits. It is an odorless, non-toxic, petroleum type product that will take the wax and melt the wax, giving you this beautiful, smooth finish to a pencil. So again, it's odorless, it's non-toxic, it's petroleum based, it is not alcohol based. This is a stump, so paper stump. All this is compressed paper, and I mean it's compressed. And you sand it with some sandpaper to get your point every time you change your colors, although today I probably won't even sand it, even though I'm going to use a couple colors. You put it right into the Gamsol, and you can see that it changes color because now it's wet. So if you have Gamsol or mineral spirits and it doesn't have the little foam top, which is really handy, Inky Antics does that, I would just get a little jar, maybe put some cotton in it, drip some of your Gamsol in that, and put your stump there. If I put my stump directly into my Gamsol, because this is paper, it's going to want to absorb as much of that liquid as it possibly can. And it'll get, it'll change darker as it goes up. But I can never get that Gamsol out of it, so I've just wasted it. So you really just want to put on what you need for the job that you're doing. Now I'm going to take it, and water will not do this. Look at the difference. I took it from a crayon to a paint. It's pretty amazing, right? Pretty rock star. How you take something and just literally dip it in, get a little bit on there, and away you go. And can you shade and shadow? Absolutely. That's what we're going to do a little bit today. Shade and shadow. So I'm going to pull over my image here, which are my birdies. I'm going to start with my cardinal, and I'm just going to take that red pencil and I'm going to color some of my cardinal in. Now, when you're using, let me see if I can go down a little bit more. When you're using colored pencil and you're going to move it, if I was just going to color in a birdie, let's say I was just going to color him in. Yeah, I'll cut him out later. If I was just going to color him in and I wanted him all the same color, I could certainly just color the whole thing red. Let's just color him all red. And now I've got a red birdie. But what I don't have is any shading, any shadow, any highlight. I've just got a red bird. And if that's what you want to do, that's great. You can do that with colored pencils, no problem. But I want that shading and that shadow and that highlight. So instead of coloring the whole thing, I'm going to come in and I'm just going to kind of scribble some color. In some areas of my bird. It's all about the negative space when you want to do shading and shadowing. Okay, so I've scribbled in. What is negative space? all this white space that I didn't color is negative space. And when I use that Gamsol, I'm going to pull this color out and fill in that white space with tones of that red. So, Gamsol, a little bit in. Oh, you can see it's even going up higher because I just kept, oh, blurry. I don't know if it'll zoom in or not. I don't know if you can see it, but because I kept dipping it into my Gamsol, it kept going up higher and higher and higher. So a little bit of Gamsol, and now I'm going to pull this color out. And I tend to go in like maybe little circles. And just like that, I've started to color my birdie. Now he looks dramatically different than that. There's no place for me. I can smooth this guy out. I can take a little Gamsol and smooth him out, but there's no place for that pencil to go once it becomes a paint. There's just no place. I'd left no white for it to move into. However, I left lots of white there so that I could move that pencil around once it became more like a paint and get some highlights and some midtones. Now, if I want, I can come back in, and the darker I do it, so if I add some just on his wing here, so all I did was add some red right to his wing, and I'm just going to gently pull this out, like just to get rid of that line. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. The darker I make that shadow, the lighter my highlight's going to look. So if I added some more to his tummy and made it really red, really red. Now I kind of want to get rid of some of that line there. I'm just going to go in and just lightly pull and soften that one little line. To get more shadow and more shading in there. Now let's do his tail. So I can go, look at that's all I'm going to add to his tail. That's it. And then I'm going to go in and just pull it down. Okay, so I pulled it down. Now if I want it darker, I can come in back in at the top and add some more. This is different than a watercolor pencil. If this was a watercolor pencil, you could not keep adding that pencil back in. You would have to wait for it to dry before you could come in and add your pencil. And I can keep adding my color until I'm happy. But just that quickly, literally just that quickly, I have colored my birdie. So there. And then I probably still have some Gamsol on here. So I can just kind of pull it out. So that's where I am. It was that fast, really. And then I can go back in and add some depth of color if that's what I want to do. I can leave them like that, or I can just soften that little line just a little bit. And now I've got some real depth of color going on. See the difference between the two? They were done equally as fast. Took me every bit as long to color this guy in completely as it did for me to add some shading and some shadowing to this guy. I grabbed the wrong color. I've been using this color. Let's go back. I have the wrong red. Oh, okay. All good. Okay. Now, what if you want to blend with Gamsol? Can you do that? Yes. How about we keep the right pencils this time? I think I'm going to use this one. And I think I'm going to use this one. And I'm just going to wipe this one off a little bit. I could sand it. If I wanted to make sure all that red was gone, I would just use the sandpaper. Now, Gamsol comes in a kit, and we sell the kit. And it has the sandpaper and some stubs and the Gamsol. And then because this is just paper, all I'm doing is sanding until I get to the core of the paper again. I've sanded off all the red. And once your sandpaper is not good anymore, it has lots of sheets. You just rip it off and throw it away. But it takes a lot to be done with one piece of that sandpaper. Okay, so what do I want to do? Let's use some yellow here. And let's use some orange here. And let's use a little bit of yellow here. And maybe some orange here. And some orange here. And some yellow here. Okay. See all that negative space I've left myself? That way I can move that pencil in and start to create midtones and highlights. Gamsol on my stub, and I'm just going to start to blend it out. Now I've used more than one color. I want it to blend a little bit. And in no time at all, look what I did with this. Right? Holy smokes, artichokes. Are you not good at coloring? Okay, you don't have to be. I scribbled. Scribbling is good. And I can go back in. Maybe I want to add a little bit of orange to his, what is it, plume? Is that what it is? I'm going to add a little orange up there. Yes, I've got yellow down already. Okay, and look, I just drew a little line. That's all I'm going to do. And then I can take it and just blend it on. And now he's got a little bit of orange up there. I can take and add a little bit of yellow if I want to add a little more yellow down here. And blend it. And look at how good he looks. You can do this, or you can do this. All I used was colored pencils, not watercolor pencils, colored pencils. But the key to using colored pencils is this little kit right here. The Gamsol, the stubs, it even comes with a little instruction booklet on how to do it. Although you just saw me and you saw how simple it was. Gamsol is your friend. Don't be afraid. It's only paper. Take out some stamps and just stamp. Stamp, 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 and play. Try with different colors. What if I wanted to do the leaves? No, that's in the wrong place. Wrong place. Let's move that there, and let's move this here. And what if I wanted to do the leaves? And let's see, I've got it right here. I just scribbled in the line. I need to leave some negative space. I need that white space so that I can take that Gamsol and move that pencil. And start shadowing. Remember, this will be your darkest and you take it out to your lightest. So let's do this one. So I've just scribbled some color right in there. I wasn't precise. I just scribbled some color in there. And then a little bit of Gamsol. And pull that color out. I want the leaves to have a deeper shadow. Put another color, put another line in. And you can choose to pull it out or not. If I pull it out, I'm literally just going to get rid of that line. And that's it. So this is what the stamps were kind of intended to do, whether you used color pencils or alcohol inks or Tombow markers or watercolor pencils. The stamps are meant to color in and make beautiful. That's their intended purpose. Now, before I say goodbye to this one, I am going to take one of my alcohol markers. These are Aussie Andrews Couture Creations alcohol markers. They are very much like a sketch marker. You've got a beautiful bullet point for detail in writing. You've got a beautiful brush tip that lets you do everything. So nice. Right now they are not refillable because they're $1.99. They hold a ton of ink, but the refill is going to be so expensive in comparison to just getting another pen. So the zero pen, what they call the blender pen, will probably have a refill, but these are new to him, they're new to us, and I think for $1.99, a sketch marker retails for $7.99, and I think you can get them for about $6 a Copic. Copics are a fabulous product, don't get me wrong, love Copic, but they're expensive. This you can get a beautiful look from. It's comparable and it's just affordable. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to come in here and because I've got that brush tip, I'm just going to come in here, and because it's an alcohol marker, it dries almost instantaneously. Oh, Stacy. Okay, I'll make sure was going to go around all of that, but now I will. So you've got that beautiful brush tip that lets you just get right in and up close to everything. So I'm going to save some of that snow and just go right around it. And the marker, because it's alcohol, doesn't leave lines. You know how markers usually will leave lines? Alcohol markers don't do that. I shouldn't have colored that one, but it is what it is. All right, I think I'm good. Pretty. Oh. Maybe I can go all the way to there. Yep. Okay, so I've left some snow. Did you see how quick and easy it was to do that background? So you can't really do that with a typical marker. Alcohol markers, and that's just using it just as a marker. But I just colored so fast and so easy around everything. It just was piece of cake, no problem. I stamped this one a while ago. Take my marker, brush tip, and this time I'm just going to stay away from my birdies and my snow. And I'm just using it as a marker, but because it's alcohol based, it dries super fast and it doesn't leave those lines. And you've got an opportunity because you've got that brush tip to go in there. This time I'm going to leave my snow. So I'll have white birdies and white snow. And I'm not even using it the way alcohol markers are typically used. I'm not blending it. I'm just using it to color in my background real fast. You can do this. I'm not being uber careful. Okay. And are you in a rush? Bam! Maybe that's all you had time to do. You choose choose. Pretty. Done. Easy. $1.99. So the two that I was using today, where did I put the other one? Hello, where'd you go? Oh, okay, so the two that I have out that I like the best are 24, or I'm sorry, that's my dyslexia. When I say I'm dyslexic, I really am. It's not like, haha, I'm dyslexic. It's like, yeah, I'm seriously, it's been with me my whole life. So 9421 is this one, and 9482. And these are the two colors that I've been playing with to make the backgrounds. And just, I mean, talk about easy peasy mac and cheesy. Will it bleed through? Yes, it's an alcohol marker. It will bleed through, but that's okay. And this is just 100-pound white paper. This isn't anything special. Do you like the softness and the minimalistic look of just leaving the stamp white and just doing the background? Or do you like the colored? And you've done that with your colored pencils. Easy peasy. Okay, so that was for every crafter. Now we're gonna move on. Now we're gonna move on. What do I want to play with? How about the snowman? Hello, snowman. How are you today? And look at these little guys. They're so cute. Remember, it's got that liner on there that just peels right off. But then it's got that extra piece that you don't want to peel off. If it feels like it's going to rip something, chances are it's going to rip something. So what am I going to do with this? Well, today we're going to play with... No, it's not acetate. It is a plastic. There's a shiny side. There's a dull side. It is Shrinky Dink by Graphics. Graphics does all sorts of types of chipboard for us and acetate for us, and this is their heavyweight Shrinky Dink. What makes this different than other, or well, I don't know. You know what? What makes this different than the stuff I grew up with? Well, to start with, it's glossy on one side and it's sanded on the other. That means you now have the opportunity to color this with colored pencils or Sharpies or Bics or Copics or Couture Creations. I would definitely not waste my Copic marker ink on it because it is expensive to replace. I would definitely use my $1.99 Couture Creations because you're going to get the same look and the same feel without spending the money on the ink, without question. So how do you do this? How do you use Shrinky Dink? It seems so self-explanatory, but it's not. First, it starts with the right ink if you're going to stamp on it. That's the most important thing. What ink do I use and what side do I stamp on? Well, this is a non-porous material. It's plastic. If I put a dye-based ink on here, it's never gonna dry. If I put Memento or Tim Holtz or Stampin' Up or whatever you've got, it's never going to dry. This needs a permanent ink. So it needs a StazOn, it needs a Sharpie, it needs a Bic, it needs a Marabou, it needs a Couture Creations, it needs a permanent ink. If the ink that you're using will stay on glass and metal, well, it will also stay on plastic. So we're going to be using StazOn today. StazOn that's what it is. It's a permanent ink. So it stays on. It's a solvent-based ink, which means it has alcohol in it. And how to use it on a piece of graphics shrink plastic is important. I'm going to take, okay, so I'm going to take my cute little snowman, and I'm just going to do a corner. In fact, I'm going to cut a corner. I'm going to cut a piece of this off. I'm just going to ink up a corner with my StazOn. And I'm going to take, and on my glossy side, I'm going to transfer my image. Put it down. Now the nice thing about it is that when your image transfers, I wish I could pick this up for you. When your image transfers, you can actually see it get dark. You can see it transfer. I bet I've moved it. Oh yeah, it's a little blurry. Okay, so what do? I'm not happy with that impression. Not a problem. Get some of your hand sanitizer, because hand sanitizer is alcohol. Alcohol and alcohol do not play well together. So I can just basically erase it and start all over again. So let's grab that other piece while that one dries. So I'm on a piece, so that I've got the high gloss. I've got my StazOn. I'm just going to ink up a little portion of my stamp so you can see it. Oh, I just got it wet. Oh, that's okay. I'm going to put my high gloss side against my stamp pad to transfer. And just stamp my image. Okay, there we go. I've got a little bit of my image. Now, when you go to color this, are you going to color it on that same glossy side? No. What happens if you go in there and you don't flip it over, you decide to color on the same glossy side? Well, let's take something kind of dark and let's just do that snowflake right up there. So the snowflake right up there. And I'm going to take, I've stamped right on my glossy side. That's the side I'm on. Now I'm going to color on my glossy side. And I go in there with my Bic or my Sharpie or my Marabou or my Couture Creations, and I color, and I go in there and I start to color. Well, remember what I said. Alcohol does not play well with each other. Look at that. I just wiped it right off. What's going to take alcohol off? Alcohol. This is a solvent-based ink. Bics and Sharpies and Copics and Marabou and Couture Creations, these are also solvent-based inks. So it's going to get that stamped image wet, basically, and it will just wipe right off. That's not what we want. So we can take it and see, start again. Isn't that nice when you can start again? So now, what happens if I take it and I stamp on the side that's got that sanded look to it? That's not as high gloss. You can definitely see the difference, and you can feel the difference. This is all smooth, and this has got a little texture to it. So now let me take that same stamp and ink up. And this time I'm going to stamp on the sanded side, not the glossy side. And stamp. Okay, you can see my stamped image. And now I want to take and I want to color. Can I color over the top of this? Well, I'm going to have the same problem. If I add alcohol, an alcohol marker to this, it's gonna smear, it's gonna disappear. Let's do his little hat. And poof. That's not what we're looking for. Beautiful part is you take a little bit of alcohol and you can start again. There might be a little bit of leftover residue. You might see a little bit of the image left, but don't even worry about it. You're just going to start again. This time, so I'm back to the first one because I'm going to let this one dry. This time I'm going to stamp on my glossy side. So let's ink them. I'm going to stamp. Ooh. Stamp on my glossy side. So, glossy, not so glossy. And you can feel the difference in the texture. So I'm going to stamp on my glossy side. But I'm going to color on my sanded side. When you're using the graphics Shrinky Dink, because they've given you that sanded side, that is what lets the marker or the pencil grab it and hold it. Typical Shrinky Dink is high gloss on both sides, and you couldn't use a colored pencil to color this in. Let me move him over here for just a moment. You wouldn't be able to take a colored pencil, and there's my glossy side. This is my sanded side, and I can go in. And I can use a colored pencil. To color him. If this was on the glossy side, the colored pencil doesn't work. It needs that sanded element for the pencil to grab to grab and hold on to. Sanded side. Not sanded side. Big difference. And if you're going to use an alcohol marker, well, you can't go over the alcohol marker with the StazOn. It's gonna, you saw me just wipe it away. So if you stamp on the glossy side and color on the sanded side, all of a sudden everything is easy peasy. And now all of a sudden you're coloring. So when you're using Shrinky Dink that has two sides to it, a gloss and a sanded, you're always going to want to, let's bring over some Shrinky Dink. Let's bring over my stamp. Let's ink it up with StazOn. You've got to use a permanent ink. So let's ink it up. And let's put my glossy side against it. Once you get it, you got it. Oh, I moved it. Well, it is what it is. All right, well, for moving it, it's not half bad. So there's my image. Now I do need to let it dry for a moment. It's an alcohol-based, solvent-based ink, but it still needs a second to dry. You want to give it a second or two to dry. You'll see, you'll know if it's dry if you put it down on white paper. If it's still, the ink still pulls. So give it just a second to dry. And then we can go and start to color. So there's my stamp on the glossy. Here's my non-glossy. I'm going to put that down. And now I can color it any way I want, with the pencils, without pencils, with my markers, with my Bics, my Sharpies, my Marabou. What makes your heart happy? And I don't even have to stay in the line, so to speak. I have to stay in the line that is the outer outline of the image, but I can just go. And color away. So if you pre-stamp this, you're able to let kids go in there and color the whole thing. And then we're going to cut it up and shrink it. Easy, done, and kids love doing, everybody loves to do, I'll tell you, they were giggling like school kids when they were playing with these. I will tell you, downstairs, our honorary SMS girl, Katie, was giggling like a schoolgirl when she was coloring these. And because I'm coloring on the back side, the ink isn't going to move. So I want to use a Marabou marker as opposed to my Couture Creations. You can. The nice thing about the Marabou markers is that you've got that brush tip. It's going to take a little more effort with a Bic or a Sharpie or the Marabou, but it can be done. Sure, absolutely. Why not? And I can just color right on in. I can even take my Sharpie. Colors buttons black and black, and oh, I gotta finish this scarf. So now I've got the stamped image, and I was able to color without it all running into each other and making a soupy mess. Because I stamped here, but I colored here. Now, I'm going to put this aside for just a minute, and we're going to play with just the Shrinky Dink with nothing stamped on it. I'm just going to show you how the Shrinky Dink works, because it is a process. You have to play with it a little bit, and then it's like a light bulb moment. So I'm going to bring over from Sizzix. They have this little tool thing, and it is for shrink plastic. They've got a mat, which if you already have a craft mat, you don't have to use the silicone mat. My craft mat goes up to the same temperature as their silicone mat. I think it's 500 and some odd degrees, I believe. They've got this little weird thing here that, okay. So back up just a little bit. Okay. So I love you, Victoria's Victor and Sizzix Sarah. But this little thing, oh, it looks kind of cute. You're buying this set for Shrinky Dinks for this. This is the thing you want. Now, if you don't have a craft mat already, then you're gonna love having the silicone. Okay, you're gonna love having this. It's a squishy, it's a thinner squishy than we use for our embossing. But the whole reason to buy the kit is for this, because this, kind of pointless. This you may already have in the way of a Tim Holtz craft mat, a mine, whomever, but this is worth every penny of what you pay. Okay, back down I go. So, if you can come up with a really great use for this, maybe that's what you have to post this week. Oh, you have to tell me what you think we should use this for, because what they want you to use it for makes it's not there. Sorry. Okay, so this is shrink plastic. The smaller the shrink plastic, the easier it is to manipulate. So I mean, this is a pretty small little piece of shrink plastic, and it's going to shrink down to almost nothing. How am I going to shrink it? I'm going to use my heat tool. But I'm going to use my heat tool in, you're going to need both speeds. So I'm using the Sizzix tool. You can do it with the Ranger heated tool. It takes longer, but with shrink plastic, there is an absolute benefit to having two speeds. So I've got this little thing here, and this, because it's also made of silicone, never gets hot. If you were to take your tweezers and hopefully hold things in place and shrink it down and trying to pull it out from each other, these are going to get burning hot. But this never gets hot. Now, shrink plastic is going to curl up on itself, and it's gonna become, it kind of morphs into something, and you have to give it the opportunity to do what it's supposed to do. Don't freak out, I promise. So I'm gonna turn it on to low, not high. So on low, I'm gonna let it start to heat. And it's going to start to curl. And it's going to start to move. And you're going to go, oh my gosh, I'm ruining it. And then it's going to start to uncurl. And once it has shrunk down, and look at it, it's uncurling. Did you see it curled into this little tiny ball? Once it is completely shrunk down, I'm gonna blast it with the high heat. And it's just going to finish in place. And then this little piece here lets you press it down. No heat. And then when it's all done, it's a thick piece of plastic. When it's all cooled off, it's plastic that you can't bend. If you bend it, you're going to break it. So I went from a piece this size to a piece that size. They say it shrinks to about 1/4 of the size that you use. So if I use a bigger piece, use a bigger piece. Start with the low, and this is going to curl even more into itself. And can it stick to itself? Yes, and that's where this little end of the tool comes handy. You can wedge it in there and pry it apart. So on low heat, and it's just going to kind of curl into itself. Ooh, this one curled really into itself. Will I be able to get this one undone? Ooh. Keep going with the heat. So it really curled into itself. You can flip it back and forth. And once you're sure all the shrinking is done, I can blow it with some high heat. And this one is stuck together. Can you see it's kind of stuck together? So I'm going to blast it with some heat. And then I'm going to work it until it pulls apart. Bigger pieces are harder to do. Ooh, hot, hot, hot. This is where the mom and dad come in and not the kids. So I can keep working this until it comes out. The bigger the piece, the harder it is to do. Let's try another big piece. Start slow. Doesn't matter which side you start on. And let's see if we can keep this one from curling crazy. So I'm using my little pointer to kind of keep it in place. Pointer. So it's stuck right there. I'm just gonna pop it open. And now that I know that it is shrunk as far as it can go, high heat. Because I've got a little bit of a blob, right, a little bit of a crease right there. And then down. I can flip it over, add that high heat. Done. So this time on this one, oh, it's still hot, still warm. Give it a sec. This one, I just kind of let it do its thing. And can I reheat this and get it undone? Yes, I can reheat this. I can heat it again and again and again to get it loose so I can start prying it apart. This one was easy peasy because it was small. This one, a little bit bigger, but I held it in place and I kind of worked around it and let it kind of do its thing. You've got to let it do its thing. So I've got these two pieces here. I'm going to put them there. Can you die cut this? Yes. So let's cut another piece. And let's grab one of my dies. Super cute. Let's do a circle. So circle. I can bring over my die cutting machine now. This is supposed to go on the top when you're heating it, but it doesn't. I'll show you. I'll show you what it does. Let me bring over my die cutting machine. I've got my Sizzix Big Shot machine. I've got the platforms that it comes with, the base and the solo thin adapter. Put those two together because I'm doing a wafer die. Put down my cut plate. My shrinky dink, doesn't matter which side up. And let's cut. It'll go through a cuddle bug. It'll go through a big kick, a big shot, a platinum 6, a platinum 8, a old Sizzix Vintage, an old Sizzix Fabia, Tim Holtz machine, a Pro, a Gemini, you name it. Cuts just fine. Easy peasy. Now I can, see, this is supposed to go on top. And you're supposed to turn it on and start to heat. It kind of keeps it in place for you. But then as it starts to melt and shrink, this little thing starts to lift and you have to take it off. You have no choice. And by that time, well, I've lost where I can hold it. So I'm just going to shrink it down. Shrink it down. And look at there. That was easy peasy. Done. What if we did a bigger piece? Let's grab and make a bigger circle. Circle's done. Let's grab and do a larger, maybe we'll do a heart. And I'm gonna die cut my heart. Bring my machine over. Die cut. And really, you don't have to go backwards. These are open frame dies, which means they're not intricate at all, and it's gonna cut on a first pass. Done. So I've got my shrinky dink cut in the shape of my heart. Now I could take my hole punch and punch a hole in it. You want at least a hole that's 1/4 of an inch, somewhere in that range, because it's going to shrink. Let's bring over my heat tool, and this is the best tool ever for shrinky dinks. The best. Low heat. Kind of hold it in place. It's going to start to curl and warp, and you're going to go, ah, what happened? But then it's also going to start to flatten out. And let's blast up. There we go. Let's blast on high heat. And give it a second. It's still hot. You use this end to press down to make flat. And now I have got my Shrinky Dink that has a little hole in it so that you can make a charm, you can make an ornament, you can make a tag, you can make anything you want. So super cute, right? In fact, I'm going to use those. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to use those. Let's see if we can do a bigger heart. Ooh, bigger heart, right? Let's grab our Shrinky Dink. And do you have to cut it in a square? No, you could cut it kind of close to the shape that you're doing so you don't waste any. We've got a 12 pack of it, and I think it's a 12 pack, and it's either a 10 or 12 pack, but we were able to get such a wonderful price on it from Graphics. I can't tell them how thankful I am for that. Let's bring over my machine. Doesn't matter if you cut the shiny side up, the rough side up, makes no difference. So my Big Shot machine with the base platform that it comes with and the solo shim that the new machines come with, or if you're using an older machine and you have a multi-purpose platform, just keep all tabs closed. Keep the whole thing closed. Let's send it on through. And now we're going a bigger piece. Let's see what we get. Gosh, I might be able to shrink this. Keep that open. I'll think about it. This you're supposed to put over the top of it, but by the time it starts to move and shrink up and you have to take this off, it's almost too late to get a hold in there to hold it down. So I'm not really crazy about this, but I tried to just buy this. I love the mat and I love this. Tried to see if I could just get this from Sizzix, and they said, yeah, no, we sell it together. And I'm like, well, okay. So I'm trying to just keep it from curling on up on itself. And I mean, it looks like a mess. It doesn't even look like a heart anymore. And then let it start to flatten out. You have to give it the chance. You can't stop too soon. And now that I know that it's completely shrunk, I'm going to blast it with some high heat. Everybody with Shrinky Dinks stops too soon. You're not going to hurt it if you keep heating. Let's do one with a hole punch in it. So let's do a heart, big heart, and let's do it with a hole punch in it. Maybe I can stop in the middle to show you. You've got to keep going. When you think you've gone far enough, if it's not flat, you haven't gone far enough. You just have to make sure it doesn't stick onto itself. And if it does, you just heat it and pull it apart. Okay, this time, I'm gonna keep that one too. This time, let's do a hole in it. Maybe I wanna make it into an ornament or a keychain or put it on a bookmark. I've got my hole. You have to punch the hole first. That's a big thing. If you forget to punch the hole first, you're not gonna be able to punch it after. So I'm gonna kind of hold it in place. Low heat, And just even when it looks like it's a tangled mess, just keep going. And once I've got it all shrunk down, blast it with high heat. Now this one's stuck a little bit right there, just at that side. So I can take my little tool and push it right through and high heat. And even though I had to grab it and unstick it, just sticking that right through it. There it is with my little hole. Now I'm going to hold on to these because I'm going to use these. But now we come over to this guy. We've colored some of them. I can take and I can die cut what I want. I can also take and fussy cut what I want. What if you don't have a die cutting machine? Well, I can do just kind of a little rough cut around this guy, just with my scissors. And just give a little bit of a rough cut. I haven't colored it, but I can take my hole punch him. Yeah, he's a little big. Let's see how I do. Hole punch him, and let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can get him done. Start on my low heat. Kind of using my tool to keep it from turning too much in on itself while it's shrinking. Once I know he's done shrinking, look at him, he's just laying out. Blast him with my high heat. And flatten them out. Give them a second to dry. They're hot. You can also do it in the oven, but I like instant gratification. Can't see, I don't know if it's zooming in or not. How cute is this? And I have the little hole to string through and make a little tag or a little an ornament, a sweet little on a little tree. Wait, I have a little tree for you. And I didn't even color them, right? I didn't even color them. So what if I wanted to die cut? These two out. Or a circle. cute, right? What do I want to do? No, let's do the hearts are just darling. Okay, so let's die cut him out. I'm going to lose my center guy, but that's okay. Or maybe I want these two. Oh, I think I want these two. And let's die cut him out. So I'm going to die cut out 2. Bring my machine back over. So you're able to see, I'm going to die cut these 2 out. If I had a bigger heart, I could use a bigger heart. Send it on through. And let's see what we get. Low heat to start. Hold it in place. Kind of let it start melting and working in on itself. Your goal is to keep it from sticking to itself. And even if it does, then you just have to take it and unstick it. Kind of let it curl into itself. And then once it's done shrinking, gosh, I know it's so small. Once it's done shrinking, high heat. And flatten. Give it a chance to cool. And there he is. Super cute. So if I were to take, let's just take the Snowflakes and I was to ink it up. And grab a piece of my shrink plastic. Close enough. So make sure you've got the gloss, not the sanded. I'm going to stamp on my gloss. Press it down. pull it up. There's my image. Give it a second to dry. Let me trim it out. And then it's up to you what you want to do. I could literally just take it and let's put some white underneath it so you can see it. Don't know that my ink is dry yet, but I could take it and just color the backs. Color the backs. Just add some color. Oh, I made purple. Go in and color it any way that makes your heart happy. I know I'm really close up, but I just want you to see what can be done. Draw around the outside. Draw around the outside. Let your kids do whatever makes their heart happy. Maybe they want to do the rest of it in blue. I don't know. But anyway, so we've got some done. Now we just have to cut what we want to cut. You don't have a die cut? No big deal. Looky, just fussy cut. And on this one, this was Honorary SMS Girls, Katie's idea. I'm going to go straight up. And I come kind of across and down. So I just cut, oh, it's very close, but I want you to be able to see. Can you see that I left a little, I made an ornament. Put my hole punch in there. And now let's shrink it. And hopefully by being this close, you'll get a really good view of shrinking. So my heat tool, it's a little big, so hopefully it doesn't curl too much in on itself. We're gonna see, time will tell. And I'm gonna hold it and, oh, a little blue in there. No, forget it, we're good. And low heat. And let it start to kind of curl. Can you see how crinkly it is? I lost my place. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. I lost my little foothold. Okay, come on. Oh, look at it. I don't know, can you see it? I can't tell. It's done. High heat. Let's let it dry for us. Well, cool, it's already dry. Cool for a second. And I have a little ornament. They're so cute. Right? I know, it's crazy. They're so much fun. Once you get started, oh my gosh. So much fun. Draw a little circle around it. I've got some blue going on. Cut it down. You don't have to use the die cut if you don't want to. I love the little ornaments. Punch a little hole in it. You want to use a hole punch that's about at least 1/4 of an inch. That's ideal because it's got to shrink. Shoop. Pull it up. Bring over my heat tool. Start with a light heat. And watch it just kind of curls in all onto itself. Yeah. And then it just kind of flattens out. And when I'm sure it's done shrinking, blast. And I'm making the cutest little ornaments. So darling. What if you're not a stamper, and what if you just want to play with the shrinky dink? Okay, let me go back just a little bit. What if you have kids and you just want them to scribble and color? Okay, let's scribble and color. So let's take it, and I want to do this one too, but what are our favorite colors? How about we do, let's put it on some paper so I don't ink. Now I'm on the sanded side, not the glossy side. What if you just want them to scribble? They want to make their own little ornament tree, or they want to make something for grandma or for papa, and they just want to, you don't want them to deal with stamps. They don't want to color in. They're not to that age yet. But you want them to have fun. Now, mind you, this isn't little kids scribbling, but you'll get the idea. And then maybe okay, you get the gist, right? Or I could take a piece. I have a little piece that hasn't been, here, I got a little piece here that I stamped on, and it's still got a little bit of residue on it from, and I can take it and just, I mean, this is just, oh, I want to use the brush. Maybe this is more kid-like. We good? Does that look good? So I got some polka dots. And I got some stripes. Now, maybe the polka dots, I take and do this and this. Well, it'd be nice if I cut them even. And I take my punch and I go punch. And on this one, I can die cut a heart. So one I just did by hand, and one I can die cut. Doesn't Grandma need a part to her keychain? Doesn't she need to add something to her keychain? I totally think she needs to add this to her keychain. And pop it out. And punch. And let's start with my tag and see if I can zoom in a little tighter for you, just so you can get a better view. And heat tool. So the reason this has ink on it is because I put my ink side down and it wasn't dry. Start with a low heat. And let's see what we get. And now let's let it kind of flatten itself out. Once I know it's done shrinking, take it and blast it with the high heat. Give it a chance to cool, which is longer than this. I'm picking it up and it's still malleable. And look at what they made. Put a little keychain through it or a little hook. So cute. They made that for Grandma. They made that for Auntie Sue or Uncle Tim. They made it. They did it. The heart. Low heat. See it curling in on itself? You almost think you've ruined it. You don't have a die cutting machine? No problem. You can freehand a heart, a square, a tag. Once I'm sure it's all done, high heat. Oh my gosh, that's so stinking cute. That is so flippin' cute. It wasn't dry, but that's okay. Right? So, do you want to stamp and color? Do you just want to color and cut? Do you want to freehand? What do you want to do? What about these pieces that I have that I did and I didn't do anything with? What if I took those and I brought back my little snowflake guy, right? My little snowflake guy, and I inked up. Look at the, oh, Stacy. I inked up just a portion of that snowflake right there on the corner. I'm inking up this little dude right there. So because this is already shrunk down, my snowflake isn't going to shrink down to the tiny size with it. I'm going to ink it up and I can sit this right over on top. Stamp it. And now my shrinky dink is small, but my snowflake is big. And then I can turn it over and color it. Maybe that's what you want to do with the kids. You have options. You absolutely have options. How cute is this? Let's see. What do I have over? Do I have anything? Do I have a small? Small? I didn't even play with the Gnomes. The Gnomes are too big for my little heart. Maybe I can just get a snowman face. A little high. That's okay. Now I've got a cute little snowman face they can color. If I'm willing to do and try and cut a bigger piece to get a bigger so the larger the piece, the harder it is to maintain. Takes a little practice and sometimes you may not get it. Sometimes you might have to work it a little bit more than you thought. I'll punch in the center. Bring back my silicone, although I could do it right on my craft mat. Put it down, start. Okay, it looks like a crumpled mess. But keep going. Don't stop. That's what it looks like. Don't stop. Keep that heat on. And look at it starting to flatten itself out. Look at that. And then blast it. Let it cool. It's not cool yet. It's still malleable. So I can still bend it. Like if you wanted, you could bend it into a shape if you wanted. You could do a bunch of these and then let the kids draw on them. You could pre-shrink them. Now I've got room for his whole face. Now I've got room for his whole face. And then they can color the backs of it. It's up to you. Do you want the guy, do you want the snowmen to be big? Do you want the birdies to be big? Or do you want to shrink them down to mini size? I could take this one and go in. and color the back of it. That way the image size stays big. This is a Marabou. Just color them in. I know, he's so cute. He's got the little hole at the top, right? And I didn't die cut. I didn't do anything. The options are limitless. Truly, they are. It's about having the right shrinky dink. I'm sorry to say this tool is imperative. I wish it weren't, but it really, or something like it, all silicone. And then you just take it and make them what you want them to be. Let me back up a little. Earlier I did, when I was playing, I did a heart that's polka dotty. I did a sunflower. Sunflower's beautiful. Sunflowers come out beautiful. I did a big piece and stamped on it so I could keep the snowflake big. And if you don't like any of this, well, that's okay. We did this too. Right? Do you remember way back when we started? We were using the stamps for their intended purpose. But when I saw the designs, I thought, how easy to stamp one stamp and then cut it up into, this one easily cuts into thirds. You could have this one as your center all by itself, these two and these two. Let the kids color them. Here, you can stamp all at once. Let the kids color it any way they want, and then you cut it up and you shrink it for them. Look at the gnomes. I have a whole Christmas tree filled with nothing but Christmas gnomes. There's one, there's one, there's one. You can have this whole one. You can have these two and these two. One stamp. The birds. Oh my gosh, wait till you see the card Claire did with the birds. Again, cut it up how you need it and shrink it. And then the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sunflower. They're Slimline Stamps. Yeah, they're made for card making and scrapbooking. But gosh, I just thought to myself, holy smokes, if I was a kid, I would just love Mom handing me a pre-stamped sheet and I could just go to town. And then we would cut it and Mom would shrink it for me, or Dad would shrink it for me. Even if they color one day and you shrink the next. Or for Sunday school, they color one Sunday and the next Sunday they come back and they're all waiting for them, all shrunk down. How fun is that? And keychains, you buy some little keychains or some little Christmas hooks or whatever. I just thought that, you know what? It's a time gone by. It's from an era that I grew up in that brings back a little bit of joy, a whole lot of happiness. And I still have this guy who's a hot mess. If I really work it and I go back and I turn on my heat tool and I get my little, can I get it undone? Yeah, I can. Am I gonna want to? No. It's gotta get hot enough. And then you start pulling it apart. It's hot though. I think I'm going to give this one to SMS girl Sarah. There's your challenge, Sarah. Oh, see, it's starting to come apart. You just got to work it. I don't know. I'm going to give it to Sarah to finish. She'll get it undone. But the nice thing is you can see that it reheats up and lets you rework with it. Gosh, if you're doing flowers, yes, you can do stamp flowers and then kind of curl it as they're still warm and blend in and curl it into each other. Okay, so holy smokes, we did a lot. We really did a lot today. And there was just so much fun to play with. And I loved the stamps. And I loved how easy they were to color with watercolor pencils. And then to take that alcohol ink marker, even if you're not an alcohol ink person, but to be able to do backgrounds so simple, so easy. Look at, they're so pretty. And because of the brush, it's that brush tip that makes life so much better because it just lets you get in there and get that color in. It's got that nice little tip and then you can broaden it. And it's really about what you like. Those colored pencils. Easiest way to color ever. I mean, really, it's a very simple way to color. You just start. Do I have any more? Well, you just start by putting a little bit of color in there. Leaving that negative space negative. Taking that Gamsol. Not water, not alcohol, and then blending it out. Give yourself some shade, give yourself some shadow. And in no time at all, it looks like you are a pro at coloring. Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know how easy it was. They don't need to know. Don't tell them. I won't tell them. You want it darker, add more pencil to really get that shading and that shadowing the way you want it. Poof! And then we played with the Shrinky Dinks, which were just fun. You can die cut it. You can color it with colored pencils. The same colored pencils I use will color these. You can stamp on it. And it's just a matter of practicing to get the shrink right and learning how to use the tool. And that Sizzix tool. The silicone mat is nice. This works. I mean, this works too, but to have this as an extra, that's great. But this is a game changer for Shrinky Dinks. It really is. Gosh, it kills me to say that, but it is. And this is your comment today. What do you have to post? What would you do? What unique way would you use this for? Badminton or straining something in the kitchen? I'm gonna get in so much trouble for this, but yeah, what would you use this for? That's what you have to post. Not something kind, not something nice. How would you use this? Because I'm not sure it really works for what it was intended, but these two are great. So let me show you what's on sale today. I have the Marabou markers, just in case you want the Marabous, and those are the ones that do not have the brush tip. They are dual tip, which is very nice, but it's a very fine point and a bullet point. 24 colors, very much like a Sharpie and a Bic. So I've got those on sale for you. I have the Bronzeel pencils. I think we do it in a 12, a 24, and a 36. So a 12, a 24, and a 36. So Bronzeel will be on sale. Gamsol. Gamsol will be on sale, absolutely, as part of the YouTube Yummy. The Sizzix Heat Tool will be on sale as part of the YouTube Yummy. The $1.99 108 colors of Couture Creations alcohol ink markers. Beautiful markers for the price. You just can't go wrong. Those will be on sale. The Shrinky Dink. Is it a 12 pack? Yes, 12 sheet. So we did a 12 sheet, 8.5 by 11, and at a killer price, an amazing price that we were able to do on the 12 pack. Really a great price. We will also have the Sizzix Tool on sale. I'm going to tell you, it's coming to you in a plain bag. Not in any fancy box, not in anything special, a plain bag. You'll get all 3 pieces, but the reason it's coming to you in a plain bag is the box is so big that we can't ship it. We'd have to charge you extra to ship this. So we're having it put in a plain bag, and we're shipping it in a plain bag. Nothing special to it. If you don't want the plain bag, please don't buy it. Please, please, please. So plain bag, that's how it's gonna come, okay? And then I have got all of the, we've got the I Want It All for the Stampenda stamps, which are beautiful. I love them, the little snowman. The Gnomes are fabulous. The Winter Wonderland Snowflakes and the Cardinals. So this is the I Want It All. But then we also have some others from them that are not part of the I Want It All, but are available. And they'll be on sale too. They're just not part of the I Want It All. I've got the Gnomes in the fall with the blustery leaves all around. I've got a Season's Greetings word block. Wait till you see the samples made. So that one I've showed you. I've got the ornaments with the text. Again, you think this is not so, you look at it and you're like, oh, huh. Wait till you see the samples. I've got, well, there's the Gnomes. Isn't the Gnomes so cute, honestly? I've got the thank you word blocks. And I've got the fall Halloweeny Gnomes. Okay, so let's talk about samples. So let me bring over samples to show. And I've got lots of them. All right, so I showed you this one already. So this is using this stamp right here. And it's using that portion of it right there. So just because it's a slimline doesn't mean you have to just use it for slimline. Heavens no, you've got options. But then look at this little tag. And that's the shrinky dink of it. Isn't that so cute? What a cute little bookmark for somebody. There's the shrinky dink. Same stamp. Okay, then remember I showed you those ornaments? How cute is that? There's that ornament. The background with the ornament. Isn't that darling? And here are our Halloween gnomes. And that the thank you block, remember I told you all those thank you words? Look at that as a cute background. The Slimline thank you. Is it this one? No, this one's the Merry Christmas. Oh, right here. The Slimline thank you. So would you think this got you this? So super cute. Here is Claire. Claire did a shrinky dink of the birds. So the cardinal birds, or the birds that I did, I don't know if she did the cardinal. She took them from the other side. So the birds that I did, the stamp set that I used to do a shrinky dink, and then made a card. Those are shrinky dink. And then here's with the birds. Clever idea, super cute, right? And put your sentiment in there, super cute. Put your to and from and happy birthday. And here, the slimline of the snowflakes to add just that extra little touch to the card. Front and back. Clever, right? And we have the Halloween gnomies. They're gnomes. I know they're gnomes, but. And then look at the winter. Look at the snowmen. Okay, and then I've got another thank you card. And the Christmas gnomes. And the winter birds. And then the fall gnomes. Bring this stack on over. And look at the background. That's a great background using that snowflake. And we have a gift card holder. This is a die by Stampendous. We sell this die. Gift card holder. Done with the sunflower slimline. Here are all of our snowmen. Here's our background die. So the background die, this is a different snowman, bigger, but now we've got a vertical card. Here we've got our Christmas gnomes, and the snow day is cut out of that, a slimline holiday greetings with all the words. And here Claire has done a card using Shrinky Dink. So here's the image. She stamped the image, but then she used Shrinky Dink all over, which can then be popped off and made into magnets or whatever they want to do with them. Here is that background, the slimline with all the Christmas words. And again, that's where the snow day came from. Isn't that cute and clever? How easy is that? Making a little present out of the words and using the background, all out of one stamp, one slimline stamp set. And here again, we've got those Christmas words used as the background to make the box. That was very clever. It's very effective and very easy to do. And here's the snowflakes cut out, as opposed to using the entire stamp set, just die cutting out the different snowflakes to make your background. And a beautiful, beautiful autumn card. So stamped the entire slimline, but then just stamped and colored a portion and layered it. Beautiful. And then SMS girl Sarah did this one. So here it is. And then you open it. Well, here it is. And then you open it and you've got a whole gnome family in there with the sunflowers in the back and the gnomes all done in Shrinky Dink. And that's an Altoids tin. Right? Isn't that cute and clever? That's SMS girl Sarah. And then let me move these out of the way. Oh, I just dropped one. But before, I want to show you a layout. And then I want to show you our trees. So Claire put together a layout for you. Let me back it way up. So Claire put together a layout with the Shrinky Dinks. And she just rough cut them. and all the little ornaments. Really cute layout. Oh, and one more card that I didn't see. Oh, here we've got another card. And we've got the Shrinky Dink there. I bet this is the one Renee did. I bet this is SMS Girl Renee. So SMS Girl Renee spent her time working on samples, and she made a gnome Christmas tree. I mean, these guys are they're precious. They are so darling. She just cut, she's got some snowflakes on here. She's got the most darling little gnome, Christmas gnomes. She made a gnome Christmas tree. Out of Shrinky Dink. Now, if I were a little kid and I wanted an advent calendar, this is the way I'd want to do it. I'd want to make 24 little Shrinky Dink ornaments, and every day I got to hang another one on my tree. Absolutely. So this is Renee's gnome Christmas tree. But wait, we also have SMS Girl Claire and and Renee and honorary SMS Girl Katie, who worked on this Christmas tree. Look at, aren't they so cute? Look at this one here. Gosh, I hope the camera can get it. If you were standing right here, you'd see them so perfectly, but I just worry they, oh, and look at the cardinal. Wait. All done out of Shrinky Dink, and all the little snowflakes and I mean, they're just, oh, we got a couple cardinals. She's got another one over here. Okay, this is what I want on my desk. So cute and so easy. I mean, you could make these as little gifts for people. Oh, look at this one. I didn't see this one. Look at that one with the birds. So, I know, aren't they just so cute? Okay, so it's me, Stacy. Scrapbooking Made Simple. Scrapbookingmadesimple.com. Oh my gosh. So again, I took the Stampendous stamps and I used them in a way that they would probably expect me to use them. But then, those stamps make the best Shrinky Dinks. Oh, I hope you learned something today. I hope you had a good time today. I hope you found something that made you go, oh, I can do that. I hope you found that today. And well, where are you gonna get all this great product? The markers are gonna have to come from me, the $1.99 markers. You may be able to get the Stampendous stamps. I'm not sure if they've released yet or if we've got them a little early. But water or regular colored pencils you can find at any art supply store or any local mom and pop shop. They might even have the Gamsol, absolutely, if they do shop there for it. They may have the India ink if they do shop there for it. Come to us for the things that you can't get at your local independent mom and pop shop. And there's a big difference between local and independent and big and large and corporate. So if you can just sprinkle your money all around to all the local independents, and if you don't have any, we understand. Then you just, you shop online and you hopefully find some small independent online stores to support as well. That's all that we ask for, is that you shop. You know, we just want to keep crafting affordable. We just want to keep it going, and we want to see people like us. You know, we see when we went to the shows, we'd see husbands and wives just like us, just like Mr. SMS and I, walking up and down the aisles, and it just made my heart so happy to meet them. It really did. So, all right, it's me, Stacy, Scrapbooking Made Simple, scrapbookingmadesimple.com. I will see you guys all next week. I hope you had a good time today, and get crafty. Shrinky Dink. Who knew, right? But it's got to be the right Shrinky Dink. Okay, bye.